Hey, it's Dre. This is a collab with Seeker of Light, where we turn each other's characters into dragons. The first dragon we have is Briar. The original character was a maned wolf with freckles and yellow eyes. For this design, I really wanted to make him fluffy, so it had to be at least part sandwing. I ended up adding mainwing into the mix so I could use the vibrant orange of the original design, and the frill so I can mimic Briar's big wolf ears. Well, tried to mimic it, I don't think it comes across. Briar isn't too prominent in either tribe's unique features, so he could easily blend into the Scorpion Den's red, yellow, and brown colour palette, if he were to live in that universe. If he were to live in the Wings of Fire universe. I added a cape so there could be more fluff, and a pouch since the legs don't have much going for them. I imagine he keeps brushes and ink in there. Other details to note about his design is the light tail. Some extra time, so I might as well yap about maned wolves. Maned wolves are their own species of canine, separate to wolves, despite the name, and separate to red foxes, despite the appearance. So you can think of them as like dingoes, or like coyotes, but they're not either. They live in South America in the savannas. Their most recognizable feature are their long dark legs, which makes the proportions hard to nail in an artwork. They've adapted this way because they need to see over the long grasses. Maned wolves don't live in packs, which is odd because most canines do, or at least when I think of wolves I think of packs. To communicate they mark things. It's a very strong smell, which is why they've also earned the nickname skunk wolves. If you go to a zoo with maned wolves, you'll also smell the place before you see it. This artwork took 40 minutes, not including the time to come up with the design in my notebook. Wolves have small white-tipped tails, which don't change in colour from pup to adulthood, while the rest of the canine changes from a muddy tawny to vibrant reds and oranges. In this design, it also counts as distinct sandwing colouring, so I headcanon that he can't change those whites. Well, I actually headcanon that this Briar can only appear half transparent, and that's the end of his scale-shifting abilities. Maned wolves are omnivorous, so they eat whatever they can get, though a common part of their diet is the wolf apple. It's a small, unsuspecting fruit, but it's what they eat. I was talking to some family members about this, and they mentioned, could that be some of the origin stuff for nursery rhymes, or kind of young tales like Red Riding Hood? You know, with the wolf luring the... yeah. Anyways, maned wolves hunt in twilight hours, which is when the sun isn't too high up, so they don't get baked. I assume it's also when most of the prey moves around for them, since other animals also don't want to hunt in that time. Though they do have the stamina to hunt all day if it's, clouded. Very interesting creatures. Briar's video, I assume I call Seeker of the Light Briar. Briar's video was obviously uploaded way before mine. But by then by the time it was uploaded, I had already drawn and recorded the speed paints. And I was working on scripts. So, thankfully we both thought of full bodies, but I didn't quite synchronize on them not being related to Wings of Fire. So, missed opportunity to draw a fluffy dragon. I am really proud of how this artwork came out, and compared to when I first started drawing dragons, my style's come a long way. Second one for this video. This is Luna as a dragon. He's a Silkwing Leafwing hybrid, though he's very Silkwing dominant. As in, the only way you could suspect that he's a hybrid is the tail, the spine, and maybe the arm speckling. Either way, I wanted to bring in a lot of green from Luna's clothes and the Luna moth. I brought in his red hair through the top scales and spine. Other design things to note are the wings, which are Luna's original wings. I'll talk more about that in a moment. Same green eyes as the original and the same horns. I wish Wings of Fire brought more horn variation like these. There's a lot of potential. I wanted to keep all these elements because even though these are different designs, I still want them to feel like the original characters. So to me, little details matter a lot. Yeah, so Luna is from a Marvel fic, which Briar has made some videos and animatics about. For those who don't know, go read the story because I don't want to spoil too much. I read the story before making this design, by the way. I really liked reading about him and Loki. The concepts were really well thought out, and there was always something pulling me to read on, stakes of the situation and all that. I also got into the Marvel Cinematic Universe around June, so yeah, this was right up my alley. My favourite Marvel thing to read about is the Steve Rogers gang, so the Captain Americas. A Moth's Light, which is the story, and at least the chapters that are going on right now, are Peter, Loki, and Luna-centric, which is fun because I don't often read about them. Sorry to the people who don't have no idea what I'm talking about, but I can't recommend it enough. You should go read it. Hope I did Luna justice. If I could do dragon armor, I think it'd be super cool to see Luna's Winter Soldier Red Guardian-esque form. But this design already took 80 minutes out of me. I don't usually say the time it takes to draw. Should I keep doing that? Let me know if that's something you're actually interested in. I mean, for this I was watching a Still Wakes the Deep playthrough in between sections, so that probably slowed it. So that did slow it down. Worth it though. Never thought I'd learn so much about oil rigs while watching that. Speaking of watching things, and circling back to Marvel, should I watch Loki? I've watched all the Avengers, that's where my interest is, and I've watched Thor and Thor Ragnarok, Goddess of Death Supremacy, and I've watched Thunderbolts. Second favourite, that shit was so good. Yelena Supremacy all the way.
Now it feels like something bigger. Just a void.
I like Loki's character, so, is it good? I don't want my opinions on him to get ruined if it's not. That's why I dodged the other Thor movies. I mean, if I wanted my opinion on Thor to get absolutely demolished, then I'd reread A Moth's Light. Wings of Fire Luna, not as in the actual character in Wings of Fire, but this Luna. Dragon Luna. Dragon Luna, I imagine, lives in Briar. Maybe the Breath of Evil, which is the plant. Yeah, the villain of Arc 3. Maybe it changes to a strand of chronic wasting disease. I haven't read Wings of Fire in a while, so sorry if there are any inconsistencies with the plot. So Queen Wasp is in control of these super violent dragons until she isn't, and she just becomes one of them, and the Breath of Evil takes over. The Breath of Evil... yeah, interesting. I do love a zombie arc. Editor Stray here. I basically just listed the normal plot, but what I was trying to get at is, what if it was it, as in the virus or whatever? Yeah, so it turned the dragon into a weapon, but it was pretty temporary. If Queen Wasp activated it, then that would actually kill the dragon, so she has to kind of use her, what she thinks is her powers, wisely. Yeah, so I could imagine when Cricket's sister got, I guess, turned. That would actually be a pretty distressing point for her, and that's why she and Blue were running away, because maybe she was chasing him. Almost the last segment, so I'll talk about Seeker of Light. There, I guess, an artist YouTuber is a description. Yeah. Talks about Wings of Fire, not Warrior Cats much anymore, but there are lots of videos about that. And some storytime content. Unscripted and a really good vibe overall. Also, being able to see his art improve in real time is inspiring, honestly. I admire the frequent unscripted videos. My perfectionism can never, but I think uploading that much, I'd run out of things to say. Yeah, I've been around for a while, so just yeah, I really appreciate this opportunity to just draw some silly little dragons and talk. With all that being said, I should probably start to wrap up. I had a really good time doing this. Great opportunity to draw some dragons, as I kind of mentioned before. Yeah, I haven't drawn in a while. I know because I haven't drawn in a while dragons, I draw a lot, but specifically like full rendering dragons. I have a very cartoon style. I used to watch a lot of Cypress. So I think you can tell a lot by my art style currently, because I haven't really expanded in what kind of style I like to draw dragons, since my really big Wings of Fire phase was like a couple years ago at least. I still love this story, despite its shortcomings. Maybe I should talk more about it in another video. Anyways, thanks for the art swap.